Hi, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about living our most soft, passionate, loving life. A big portion of that is about healing. Healing from anything that has hurt us in the past, healing from any traumas, from any pain. And so a part of that healing is forgiveness. Now, rather you're forgiving or working on forgiving right now at this moment, or you quote unquote you moved on but you haven't truly forgiven anything or anyone that has hurt you in the past a while back, but you're still moving forward. You still have some healing to do because that thing, that pain, that hurt, it is affecting you in everything that you do, whether you see it or not. And so today, we're going to talk about how to acquire this soft life, how to truly be loving and to love our life by healing and by forgiving. And so we're going to talk about why it's important to forgive, how it's affecting you, and then different techniques and tips that I use to forgive. I can speak from experience. I am completely happy. Even when I go through those seasons, I am completely happy because I do not have anything or anyone in the back of my mind adding dead weight to my life. And I want you to have the same thing. I want you to have that same happiness. So let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about it. So why should we practice forgiveness, especially during our season of healing or when we believe that we have moved completely on, but that thing is still existing in the past? That thing, whatever it is, it's unnecessary dead weight. We don't need it in our life. So why hang on to something, even if it's subconsciously? Why hang on to something in our life that's adding no value to us, that's not adding happiness, that's not adding any love into our life? Why hang on to that when we can just simply release it and experience a true form of happiness and peace? And another reason why forgiveness is probably why it's so important to forgive. When it's time for us to love those around us, when we're not truly forgiving the things in the past, the people in the past, it's going to affect the people that we love around us. And this is how I know you're not healed, or how I knew that I wasn't healed, when I would go through a heartbreak and I would say, oh, I'm never putting myself through that again. I'm never going to date again. I'm never going to put so much of myself on that table again and allow myself to get hurt like that. But in reality, you're not hurting anyone else but yourself. And I wasn't hurting anyone else but myself, my happiness, and my future. And let's say you, after heartbreak, you do meet the love of your life. You meet somebody that's amazing. But what if you're too afraid to give all of yourself to that person? You're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting that relationship. And so this leads on to the next point. You don't want to pass this down to the next generation. This is how generational curses and traumas are passed down from generation to generation to generation. Not forgiving, not completely healing. And when you're holding on to these things, you're going to pass it on to your kids, your nieces, your nephews, the younger generation that's looking up to you. You're going to pass it on to them. And they're looking up to you, and they're going to look at you and watch your movements and see why you react in a certain way, why you're not giving all of your love to your significant other, to your friends, to the opportunity that you are giving. And guess what? They're going to follow suit. They're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to tell you guys tips or techniques that I use to help me walk through seasons of forgiveness that I still apply today. So the first thing that I had to do when forgiving anything or anyone that was hurting me, that was acknowledgement. That was revisiting the past, revisiting anything, the situation or occurrence that has happened. So let's use a heartbreak for an example. I'm dating, and I believe I have found the love of my life. I believe I have found the one. And down the line, this person, the relationship hurts me so much that it brings me through the lowest season I have ever been through, right? And I know we can all relate. And so, I had to walk through that season for years. And a part of that was forgiving myself, for putting myself in that space. And that's another technique. We're going to revisit that. But a part of forgiving this person and forgiving the relationship that has hurt me, I had to revisit that place in that space. So I had to sit in that space. I had to sit with myself in that moment and recount all of the memories that I have of that. And I just had to acknowledge, like, hey, this thing really hurt me. It truly hurt me. This is why it hurt me, and this is why it's affecting me right now. And so I would say that this was a very hard thing to do, acknowledging a pain, revisiting it instead of running away from it, because it brings back that pain. You have to sit with that pain. But once you acknowledge it, once you stop running from it, you're no longer giving it power over you. You take the power back and you're in control again. And that's something that I had to do. I had to take control of it, sit in that pain, and acknowledge the hurt. I just had to come to terms with it. Like, unfortunately, I did not want this thing to happen, but this is my reality. This is what has happened. This is how this person have hurt me. This is how they disappointed me. I know I wish it wasn't true, but this is it. And so we can't lie to ourselves. We can't make up for it. We can't sugarcoat it. Be honest. This person hurt me in this many ways. This is how it hurt. This is the pain that it gave me. And this is how long it affected me. When I went through my heartbreak, I'll be honest with you, with the girls, I'll be honest with you. It took me almost 8 years to walk through that space because I never truly forgiven. I didn't forgive myself, and I didn't forgive the person and the relationship. And I don't want that for you. And so once I started sitting down, talking to God, and being in the moment and really thinking about this, how much it hurt me, how it's affecting me, that's when I started healing, and that's when I started moving forward and making room for greater love to come into my life, rather that's significant other, friends, family, opportunities, whatever it is. But acknowledgement allows the creation of space in your life. Next thing that I had to do was understanding. So first I had to acknowledge, and then I had to understand. And so we acknowledge the ways that it's hurting us. And so we're understanding now that we're understanding that this thing, the pain, it's in the past. It is no longer here. That hurt, whatever has happened, it's not in our reality right now. It doesn't have to be. Only if we give it that power. Only if we don't acknowledge it. And subconsciously we let it remain in our life and in our heart. But we have to understand that this thing, if we want to, if we're strong enough and powerful enough, if we wanted to be powerful enough, we can leave this thing in the past and move forward and just forgive and let it go. I also had to understand that I do not deserve that life. I don't deserve a life of pain. I don't deserve a life of just holding on to any dead weight, any anger. I deserve a life of happiness, of peace, of full, just blissful, passionate love. And I want the same thing for you. I want you to understand what you deserve and what you don't deserve. You don't deserve pain. You don't deserve heartache, headache. You don't deserve to live in a life where you're constantly reminiscing about the past and hurting from that. That you should understand that life that you want, that love, free of pain and hurt, it can exist. And you know what? I'm gonna speak it for you. It actually does exist. It's there. But you have to understand that the pain, the relationship, the ex, the friends that hurt you, the opportunities, the failure, whatever, that is in the past. And understand that you deserve greater. And so what I had to do when I was walking through my low seasons, especially after my heartbreaks, I had to understand that I deserve better than this. And so I want you to understand that this thing, it doesn't have to hold on to you any longer. It has no space in your life right now. And I need you to understand that you have the power, and you right now are completely free to make that choice. And so I want to encourage you to do that. So remember I said that we was going to revisit the first point that I made. Oh, it was in the first point. So this next point is accountability. And this was probably another hard one for me. Accountability. I had to hold accountability. I had to hold myself accountable. I had to think about the part that I played in the past. Now, I'm not saying put the blame on you. I'm not saying that this was your fault, whatever the pain or hurt was. But I am saying that if you allowed this thing to come in and out of your life or back into your life, if you allowed yourself to let it hurt you so much for so long, hold yourself accountable. In order for you to truly forgive, you gotta hold yourself accountable, and that's something that I had to do. And once I started doing that, I started living a life just dropping that dead weight. I held that other person accountable. I created an understanding of what I deserve and don't deserve, and then I held myself accountable. And then the most important part to this is that once you do all of these, once you combine all of this, you let it go. And that's what I had to do. You just let it go. Because there's no more room for this thing in your life. You let it all go. Because understand, remember, understand, and hold ourselves accountable that we are responsible for our life, our future, and the generations coming after us. The love that we're providing to others, we're responsible for that. And so I'm not going to let anything or anyone from my past or even currently that's hurting me to stop me from living a life full of love, full of peace, and full of happiness, loving my future kids, loving my future husband, loving my friends, my family, or anybody that's looking up to me. I'm not going to let anything in the past stop me from that, because I deserve a life of happiness, a life of peace, a life of love, and you deserve that as well. This is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. You can watch this video and decide that you're not going to forgive the people in your past. And I pray, I hope that you do. I hope that this is not the case. I hope that this is not the case. But this is all a choice. We have the freedom, we have the power to move forward, to let go of anything. And I can speak from experience, you guys. It is beautiful on this side. I am completely happy. Even when I go through my low seasons, even when I go through challenges, even when a current friend disappoint me, I forgive. I learn how to forgive and to move forward and move on. And so I know I've been talking a lot about heartbreak, forgiving from someone who no longer deserves to be in your life. But sometimes there are people who deserve to remain in your life. In order to do that, we have to forgive. You can use these techniques to really acknowledge and understand if this thing or this person deserves to remain in your life. But in order for that to happen, you have to forgive so that you can move forward. You have to hold yourself accountable, hold them accountable as well. I'm rooting for you. I know you got this, and I know you can handle this. But thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. And as always, I want to remind you that you are safe here in this space. You are loved and valued, and you got this. Okay? So I love you and thank you.